Now, that's not to say that we have equalized everything and that we've, gotten all the things set up, but we're making progress. And we have one of those leaders here with us today. With her absolutely stunning and beautiful smile, with her confident and eloquent voice, she has captured all of our hearts, but she not only impacts the world through her film, she does it through her philanthropic activities. She's a goodwill ambassador for UNICEF. She fights for women's rights, roles, responsibilities. When she sends a message, people listen. Please turn your attention to the Jumbotron and see what I mean.
हमेशा औरतों को ये कहकर दबाया जाता है कि तुम्हारे साथ जो भी अन्याय हो रहा है वो तुम्हारे भाग्य में लिखा हुआ है। बचपन से ही सिखाते हैं कि लड़के रुलते नहीं हैं। शायद बेहतर होगा अगर हम सिखाएं कि लड़के रुलाते नहीं हैं।
सदियों से औरत सती होती आ रही है। कभी कोई मर्द कूदा है आग में अपनी औरत के लिए?
औरत मरियम बनकर जिंदगी दे सकती है तो चंडी बनकर जिंदगी ले भी सकती है।
The Duck Duck girl Madhuri Dixit Nene is undeniably a perfect example of the Gen Next multitasking mom. Being a doting mother of two beautiful kids, Madhuri is very conscious about their health and also advises all the mothers to adapt a healthy lifestyle for their kids.
बचपन से उन्हें अच्छी आदत डालिए आप। सिर्फ मीठा खाने से ताकत बढ़ती ऐसा नहीं है, एक बैलेंस डाइट होना चाहिए और ये अगर आप बचपन से सिखाएंगे तो वो एक आदत सी हो जाती है और वो उनका लाइफस्टाइल हो जाएगा. सो आई वुड अर्ज ऑल मदर्स टू डू दैट.
Ladies and gentlemen, she entered the film industry in 1984, where she made her debut, and then broke into our hearts and onto the film scene in 1987 with Tezab. From there, she has been unstoppable. She has had numerous awards, nominations, 25 awards to her name, including India's highest award given to a private citizen, the Padma Shri. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give an amazing Amway Center welcome to the wonderful, great Madhuri Dixit Nene.
One more time, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise out there for the one and only Madhuri Dixit, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, namaste. Yes, I'm here.
Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
So, I know we spoke earlier, but my heart is absolutely beating out of my heart.
Karne laga, she says.
So from one fan to from all of these other fans, we are so grateful that you're here with us today.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure too.
So I know one of the things that everybody probably has asked you and wants to talk about is when you first entered the industry, as a woman, you know, the theme, as we're talking about today, is powerful Indian women. Mm-hmm. What was it like for you when you first entered that industry, being a woman, having to traverse all of those things?
Well, you know, it's always, like they say, difficult for women to make a place, you know, in any kind of profession. And when I began, there were, if you go on the set, there were hardly any women on the set, except for people who were in the movies, like if they're characters from the movie, the heroine, the auntie, you know, those kind of things. They were women, or the hairdressers. That's all. That's all the women I saw on the sets. And so you can imagine how hard women had to work and how hard they had to persevere to be in other departments as well. And today when I walk onto a set, there are women everywhere, in every department, whether it's camera, lights, and you will be shocked to know that just last year, women were given permission to do makeup. It was completely forbidden because somewhere they thought the men are supposed to do the makeup and the women are supposed to do the hairdressing. That's it. And so it was a big achievement for women that they finally got the cards to, permitting them to do makeup in film. So you can imagine how, the industry functioned till today. But it's heartening to see women everywhere, whether they're assistant directors or costume or, like I said, camera, light, script writing, directors. There's so many women directors today. And I'm not just talking about the film industry, but when you look outside as well, there are women taking like huge strides and leaps to be where they want to. And I think each and every one of these women have worked really hard to be where she is.
That's wonderful. I think it is that transition that we see that is so hard to think that it took this long, right, yes, to make that change.
30 years just to get permission to do makeup, so you can imagine.
30 years.
30 years that I know of, and much before that.
So one of the things that you had talked about previously was the fact that you had to just jump in the water and sort of learn on the job.
Yes.
That's a scary thing.
Yeah, it is scary because, when I entered the industry, I didn't know a thing about, how it works, what sets are, how the scripts are written or how you say your dialogues. Everything was learned on the job. Like I remember when I was doing my first film, I didn't even know that the house I was in was actually a set. It was not an actual house. So we were shooting for one of the shots and something happened and some light went haywire and they were correcting that. And while I was waiting, I stood on one side of the room and I put my hand on the wall and I just rested. And I swear my hand just went through the wall because it was a set. So you can imagine I didn't know anything about movie making. But it's just that I took the leap and I said that, I will learn as I go on. And at that point of time in '84 when I did Abodh, we didn't have very many, acting schools or teachers who used to teach you acting. I think most of the people just learned as they did movies after movies, and that's exactly what happened with me.
Would you have any advice for someone that may be a little afraid to jump in and try something that they don't otherwise feel comfortable doing?
Yeah, look at me. I was afraid to jump in because I come from a family where you're either a doctor or a lawyer or you're doing, something in physics or education was something very important. And I was only one who turned towards arts and I wanted to do something in that field. So there was a lot of thinking whether we should do it, the big bad world of films, and you really want to get into that, and all those questions. And finally, we just decided that, I said I just want to do it because I think I love it, and just took the leap. It's a leap of faith, and sometimes you have to have a little confidence in yourself and say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to make it work.
That's good.
Yeah.
Was there ever a time when, you mentioned about in your family, was there ever a time when you were told what, as a girl, you could and couldn't do?
I was very fortunate that I grew up in a family. We are 3 sisters and 1 brother. And I can't remember a day when I was treated differently from the boy in the family. Like my brother was treated as equally as us, and we were given all the opportunities that we ever wanted. But today when I work with UNICEF and I look outside, and, even when I was growing up and I looked at my friends who grew up in a different atmosphere where the boys were given more importance in their families and the girls were not. I work with UNICEF where you see even the mother, makes that distinction and gives better nutrition to her daughter, to the son than the daughter. She says, "Tum ek kam kha lena, kya hone wala hai? Tum to paraya dhan ho, tum to shaadi karke jaane wali ho. लड़के को सब खिलाना चाहिए कि ये कमाने वाला है, family में." So that's the attitude, and it's shocking when I see that. But I was fortunate enough to grow up in a family, and I feel that it is my responsibility now to help others, who cannot grow up in those kind of, traditions. They're still being, discriminated against, and women are told they can do this, they can't do that, and those things. And so I think women can do anything if she puts her mind to it, and parents should just let her fly.
I think one of the things that I know is probably very close to your heart as it is to mine. The idea of partnership in a family. Amish and I are a strong unit. We have a great say in what happens in everything. I don't think that's typical. I know that that's how it is for you, but I don't think that's the typical scenario. What do you say to people? You know, we talked about this sort of village sort of mindsets that are there, but what do you say to people in recognizing that we have to empower our boys and our men to start fighting and doing the things that are right, that it can't be a one direction kind of thing?
I did a campaign for Woke called Boys Don't Cry, and in which we said that बच्चों को ये मत बोलिए कि आप रो मत. You know, they are also human beings. I mean, they will cry, they'll have different emotions. But उनको ये सिखाओ कि रुलाओ मत किसी को. I thought that was a very powerful kind of a message where even when I talk to my kids and when I I see them growing up, I want to impart all the values that I have, to respect others, not just women, but in general, like respect every human being in this world. And when it comes to women, I mean, give them special respect because she has a special, a place in the society which is very, very vital. And so, that's what I believe in. And I think when kids grow up in families where you have those values, they see them and they learn. But I really feel that education is what is very important today. Even in the small rural villages, in the smallest tiers like second tiers, third tier cities where they still have the traditional thinking, they still have superstitions, and we really need education to take them forward, to educate them, to tell them, this is not right, this is wrong. And once we do that, then I think there will be a change. But it's going to be a slow change. It's not going to happen overnight. So you have to, go at it brick by brick, little at a time. And the change is going to be there, but we all have to work towards that.
We all have to work together.
Yeah.
What brings you joy in life?
Anything, like being here today, watching all these, watching all the people just smiling at me for no reason, and it's great to see that, I make them do that, right? And so little things like when my kid just smiles at me, or when he does something good and I'm like, wow, he did that, and I feel very proud and it makes me smile. Little things in life touch me, and it doesn't take much to make me smile because I just have that personality. I'm smiling all the time.
Wonderful. We appreciate that, that's for sure. We love your smile. When you have done all of the things that you've done, I know that empowering girls comes in many different forms and shapes and things. You started a website called Dance with Madhuri.
Yes.
Tell us the reasons behind some of that.
Well, the idea was because I really love to dance. And I get so much happiness when I dance. I can see her nodding like, yes. And, people tell me I give them so much happiness when I dance. And so for me, it was just an idea when I spoke to my husband and I said, can we take dancing to every house in this world? I want to do that because it's a wonderful tool to be happy. It keeps you fit. It does so much good for you. It's good for your soul, it's good for your body, and it's good for others who are watching you dance. Because I think it just makes you happy. And he said, yeah, why not? And that's when we thought of internet, because what better way to get into every house in this world? I mean, everybody has internet today. And we thought of this academy online. But it's not just a school. It's like you can learn there. You can learn to dance if you, just for the learning of it, just to educate yourself. Or you can dance to keep fit. And that was the move. And unite, where all the artists can come together and interact with each other, talk to each other about their, what they love. And talk about dancing, talk about their schools, talk about their performances. And I think it's a very powerful tool because, like I said, dancing is happiness. And I don't know how many here like to dance. How many of
Anybody
you really
like
like
to
to
dance?
dance? And it's in our culture. It's very Indian. Even if you win a match, you go like, yeah, we won a match. And you start doing the bhangra, start dancing. And so I think it's extremely important. And Yeah, it's not working. Hello?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's important. It's something that we all love to do, and something that will give you happiness.
Perfect. In case.
Okay, in case this fails, we have like a fallback thingy with us. So yeah, and that's how we started it, and we were astounded that so many people are learning online. We have more than 100,000 people who have enrolled. They're learning on Tata Sky as well. And on the website, we have more than 700,000 people who have checked in and who have learned. We have little stories, like there was a little girl, not a little girl, but a girl from Azerbaijan who learned the dances on my website. She came to India. She entered a contest where they were searching for actors, and she performed there, and she won. So it kind of validated what we are doing, that she didn't even know how to speak Hindi. And she learned from this. She came to India and she made it. And so that kind of keeps us going, because there's so much talent, so much genius all over the world who have no opportunities, who don't have access to good learning. And through the website, I can do all that for them. And I have so many fans all over the world who've loved me for what I do. And I think it's time to give back. And that's one of the ways I give back, because I know they love to see me dance. And a lot of time I got requests on Twitter and Facebook saying that, can we learn dancing from you? Well, yes, you can now, because I'm teaching a few of my Bollywood songs as well on the website. So,
do you have a favorite form, dance form?
Well, I have grown up learning the classical style of form, dancing, Kathak, and that's, yeah, I see some of the girls here learn Kathak. Yeah, and that's my favorite dance form. But dance itself is, I just feel free when I dance. I just feel happy, and it could be any form. I love to do different styles, as people have seen in my movies, whether it's Ke Sera Sera, or it's the song from Selab, or it's folk, or it's modern and classical. I've done all kinds of dances.
Fantastic. So we have a couple of audience participation questions that I'm going to go ahead and read out. We had asked them to send us your Ask Madhuri question. So one of them, actually, I don't believe they'd be here, Isha Aurora, had asked, you had lived in Denver. Yes. And what was that like for you, and then to transition to India after that?
Well, I grew up in India, and after I got married, I came here and I lived in Denver for 10 years. Before that, though, I lived in Gainesville for 2 years.
Yeah!
Yeah, so I'm very close to my first home here in the US. And then we moved to Denver, of course. We lived there. It was great. It was wonderful. Everybody asks me, how did your husband influence your life? And I think for me, when I grew up in India, I was working since I was 16, and all I saw was I went from one studio to another, and that's the only life I knew. And when I came here, I finally got a life, I had my own life where I could do the things I wanted to do, where I could, be away from all the, the fame and everything, and just have my private time, something for myself, things that I wanted to do. Like little things, like say if it's scuba diving, or it's, just biking around, or things that I'd never done in my life. And I just felt so free and so, free is the actual word for it. I just felt a lot of freedom here. And I lived my life. I had my little kids, and, everybody has dreams for their own families. And I think having a family was a big part of my dream. And I was living a dream when I was here, living that part of my dream. And I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it. And I love the way that people gave me space here, even if I was in a mall or anything. People would walk up to me and say, oh, we love you in your films and blah, blah, blah. But they would be on their way after that, So they did give me that freedom, and thank you for everyone for doing that.
So another question, is Sneha Patel here from Bollywood Dance Academy? Sneha, is she here? So she asked, if you could go back and talk to your 20-year-old self, what would you say to her?
When I seriously think about that, I think I'll go back and give a pat on my back. Because, no, really, that was the age when Tezab released, and it was a big hit, and I was working every day, and I look back and I thought that, you know, I did a good job. I mean, I worked hard, and I tried to be the best at whatever I did. I was at a very young, impressionable age, and yet I think it's because of my parents that I was very grounded. For me, acting was just a profession. It didn't make me anything special, you know, just because I was an actor, and I just behaved that way. At home, I was just their daughter or their sister. When I was on the sets, I was the actor, because for me, acting is my first love, and I really enjoy doing that. And so, you know, I think for such a young age, I think I did pretty well, and I kept that. Also, I think to every 20-year-old, I would say that, you know, the family is very, very important, because it keeps you grounded, it keeps you motivated. They're always there for you. Whatever happens, whatever the ups and downs in your life, they will always be there for you. So you should respect that, and you should understand that, and always keep that in mind.
Awesome. So, as we come to a close, your roles have been iconic. Your impact in the industry, completely undeniable, burned into our hearts and on our minds. Would you indulge us, all of your fans, with a few lines of dialogue from one of your favorite movies?
Yeah, sure, of course. I mean, all the people here, they have loved my films, watched me, and I hope that you remember the film Devdas. And yeah, and I will recite a dialogue from that movie. It had beautiful, beautiful dialogues. I remember the first time Shah Rukh walks in and he says something very pointed to me, the first meeting. And I say to him, यूं नजर से बात की और दिल चुरा गए, हम तो समझे थे बुद्ध, आप तो धड़कन सुना गए.
Fabulous. I think they'd love to see you dance, but ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank Madhurji enough for coming here and spending your afternoon with us today. Let's hope that your presence here gives enough good luck for the Orlando Magic to get another win out of the Boston Celtics tonight. And we're going to say, go Magic!
I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a great game this year.
So we'll be seeing you guys a little bit later on in the game. We have a street fest that's going to go on outside at 3:30. There will be 13 teams, 13 different dance teams that will be dancing for us out there today. Wow. Lots of different activities. We have turban tying, sari tying, henna, food, everything. So everyone's going to have a lot of fun out there. We do need to ask your cooperation. We need to exit the building by 3 o'clock, which is in the next 5 minutes. So if everyone could exit, come back for the game. We've got lots of things still to come. Madhuri will be here with us at halftime, and so we'll be making a special presentation in front of 18,000, the first sold-out game of the season. So we did it. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close with one thing that I want to hear you say. On the count of 3, I want everyone to say, J-Ho Magic! 1, 2, 3! J-Ho Magic! All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.